And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, seatpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are in episode 337. I'm your host, Chad White. As I mentioned before, we have a very special a I guess, a thing for you here. This is I did, an interview with a great actress. She's wonderful, talented, very funny, and you have most definitely seen her before. If you, I don't know if you just heard Maverick, but he sighed. He's so sick of the lead up. I'm speaking, of course, about Jennifer Irwin. You saw the name in the title. Jennifer Irwin is a very funny actress who's seen on Superstore as she was like the district head of Cloud9, and she came in and she was the bane of Amy and Jonah and Friends' existence. She's also in the Goldbergs as Virginia Crimp, who, coincidentally, had a son named Chad Crimp. Who the real names from the Goldbergs are used real names from real life are used in the Goldbergs. So Adam Goldberg, not the actor, the creator of the show, the writer. Adam Goldberg, his friend in real life was named Chad Crimp. That guy, Chad Crimp, appeared on the show, I believe, as one of the teachers or one of the friends of Murray. I don't know. I really admire that show mostly because of it's very funny. That's the most thing the most thing I admire about it. But second, because Adam Goldberg would always use people he grew up with on a network sitcom, and then at the end of the episode, in the tag in the credits, it'd be like, "That's the real Chad Crimp." It's crazy. Anyway, she's in a show called Grosse Pointe Garden Society, playing Marilyn, who is the head of the Grosse Pointe Garden Society. And I would say she's playing a bit of a different style of character. Although I haven't seen everything she's been in. She's been in the show *Halt and Catch Fire*, which is a show that is on my list. But I'm not going to catch up. And there's no time for me to ever catch up. She's also in Eastbound and Down. So if you watch that show, which is a very funny show, check it out. Anyway, we talk a lot about Grosse Pointe Garden Society as well as some other things. So yeah, enjoy that interview coming up next, right after I finish talking. Hey, this is what you should do. If you like Virginia, head to her Instagram, follow her at Irwin8729. She's a great actress, and she's very funny, and quite frankly, I like her. I'm a fan. I told her I'm a fan. I called her my favorite Yenta. I'm sure she appreciated that. All right, we'll see you after the interview. Enjoy this. Jennifer Irwin. If you want to see a video version, go to youtube.com/supluscomedy. Thank you. See you soon. Jennifer, how are you doing this fine day?
This fine day, I am doing well. How are you, Chad?
I'm doing well too. It's a nice sunny time here in Atlanta, and we got back from the dog park. I don't know if you could see him, but he just walked over here to say hello. So we came back, and now we're having a ball.
Oh, so you're in Atlanta?
Yes, I am.
That's where we shoot the show.
Oh yes, I know. I saw. I told this to some of the other actors when there's a moment, I believe, in the first episode where Melissa Fumero's character is in a bookstore signing books. I recognize it's right up the street from me. I was like, holy cow! Like, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some nights when we were shooting and it was really, really cold because we have this outdoor, this amazing set,
Yeah.
with incredible flowers. We've seen the garden,
Mhm.
and it's on the lot. right? And but there were
Mm.
some really, really cold nights that I didn't expect in Georgia.
Now, you're from Canada. Are you not a cold person?
I know cold. I know cold. I was not expecting it in Georgia. Yeah, I'm from Canada.
I get it. I understand. Look, sometimes it snowed here. That's how cold it was at one point, and a lot of people were not worried about that, and some people were. But I could roll with the punches any day.
That's good. You have to.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to you. You're my favorite Yenta, and I've just been ready to go with this. What I want to know is I watch a lot of the show. It's a great show. I'm so glad that it's on broadcast television. It really does a lot of heavy lifting in terms of comedy, but it's also pretty dramatic. And you coming from a world where you've done the Muppets Mayhem and the Goldbergs and Superstore and all these other appearances. Uh, uh, what's it like? I know you're not working on multiple things at once, but what's it like shifting gears from doing comedy stuff like that, half hour stuff, to shows like Grosse Pointe and iZombie?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I try not to differentiate between comedy and drama when I'm preparing.
Mhm.
Um, you have to kind of just jump into the characters and any sort of self-awareness that you want the character to be funny is just never useful.
Yeah.
You know, I approached it the same way. And but the beauty of Grosse Pointe is that the audience gets to see a little bit more about why she behaves the way she
Yeah.
does, which in some, half-hour comedies you don't, by virtue of the fact you don't have the time to explore someone's home life. But in this show, which is a drama, although very cheeky and very funny. You have the luxury of time
Mhm.
to see why someone's motivated.
Right. Yeah. 40 minutes is, it does wonders. When I watch something like Law and Order, they can do so much with that first half, or even SVU when they can just tell an entire story of them trying to find somebody, versus on the Goldbergs, they have to hit A, B, C, and then that's it. That's it for 21 minutes. But you manage it very well. And quite frankly, your character in Grosse Pointe is kind of despicable. She like just the way she's just ordering people around
The
and
job she has to get done.
is it a job? Is it a paying job? Does she get paid to do this?
I think she's a volunteer, but she's they want to get this cup back,
Uh,
and sometimes you need strong-willed women who have singular focuses to get the job done.
what would you ever participate in an organization like this?
Nobody would want me in an organization like this because I have no organizational skills.
Mm.
I have no green thumb. So I have never kept a plant for more than 3 months. So no, nobody would ever ask me to volunteer for this organization.
That's crazy to me. I have several plants in my apartment, and in fact, I have one that should have died 4 years ago. A friend gave it to me. She didn't know what it was, just as a housewarming gift, and it's still thriving today. And I'm so proud.
The name of
of
the plant so I can purchase it.
It's you know what? It is a Calathea ornamentifolia, something along those lines,
Okay.
and it
Oh, I
it is
have to water it.
you have to water it a lot. You have to water it pretty much every couple of days. But see, look, now you didn't want to do it. I'm so sorry.
I have a bad attitude about plants. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I, a cactus, maybe, but I take it personally. I try and follow the instructions and they just die.
You have presume do you have children? Do you have
Do.
pets?
I do. Yes,
So
they're alive. I'm able to keep them alive.
what's going on here? How come you can't take care of one of the easiest things to take care of, but you can take care of the hardest things in the world?
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
What's your process when you find a character like Marilyn? What's your process for getting into when you're reading a script, you make the decision, I'm going to take this job. How do you find that character besides looking at what the writers want?
Well, I try and, prepare like a lot of actors do, and just in terms of what is it they want to achieve in the
Mhm.
scenes that they want to achieve in the episode, their bigger goals, short-term, long-term goals. what drives them um, to get out of bed every day. Why are they behaving in the way that they do? Um, and then so you do that as much as you can, and then you just jump in on the day, and you
Yeah.
have to be open to, what the other actors are bringing. And we've got some great actors on this show that are always like they make really interesting, funny choices that are not always like expected.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep open and flexible and spontaneous,
Hmm.
which is the best kind of job to have, you know.
Did everybody get a chance to hang out when you weren't shooting?
We have a large cast.
Yeah.
So there were some cast members that I at the end hadn't even met. We were ships passing in the night. And then others that I got to know really well, and I got a chance to hang out with Anna Sophia and Melissa and
Hmm.
um, a couple times, so that was nice. Yeah.
Who is your best friend on the show? And please note that they will not see this.
My best friend.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm kind of like I'm like when in school I was like kind of the kid that bounced around to all the different tables in the lunchroom. So I
Hmm.
didn't really have a best friend. I got to know Nancy Travis.
Okay. Yeah.
We went out a bunch of times, and Anna Sophia and Ben and Asia I got to know. And who else did I well, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, well, in mentioning high school, I would say the Garden Society is a lot like high school. There is a hierarchy, and we see that a lot. And I think that in between the character dynamics, that's managed really well. And it doesn't. It's not too off-putting. I know I just said your character was a despicable person, but it's not too off-putting in a sense that if I was in this neighborhood, I would probably even like be curious about, hey, maybe I can learn a thing or two if I join this group.
Well, every organization needs leaders
Hmm.
and people to get things done. And I think that I think Marilyn has taken it upon herself to be the leader. And some of her methods are not necessarily charming, but she has the gardens club's interest at heart, I
Hmm.
think. Some people might not agree, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in high school or like you're working at the UN. Every organization has the interpersonal dynamics, has people jockeying for status,
Yeah.
and that's always the fun part to kind of really like drill into those like small petty moments where people feel higher, lower, and it's just I find them very funny
Yeah.
to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to call my biography Small Petty Moments.
That's going to be my epitaph too.
Well, thank you for the idea. Jennifer, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. This has been great. It's been a dream come true. I'm serious. I love the Goldbergs. And every time you pop up in a show, I'm always like, there she is. There's Virginia Krim. She's the
There she
best.
is, the nosy neighbor causing more mischief.
Jennifer, thank you so much. Congratulations. And I hope we get another season so we can see
Oh,
you guys come back. Love it.
thank you, Chad.
You're
Nice
very
to meet
welcome. Nice to meet you. Bye. Welcome back in. Here we are. If you're watching the video, you just saw me stare at the computer for 2 seconds before I jumped right back in. What's been going on? Nothing really. I did some work. I got a haircut. I needed this haircut so badly, and I had a very busy morning. We had a meeting for the at work. I was going to say where the contract role is a contract role, whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? We had a meeting at like 1, and I went to the and then also I was like, I'm gonna get this haircut, and then also I went to the recycling center and took Maverick to the dog park, all in a span of 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours. It was amazing. So you're seeing me move. I went to the gym at my regular time. I finished working out. It was I don't want to say how long I spent working out. Also, half of it was here. The majority of it was here. I was at the gym. I came home. Peloton, which we have a Peloton story in a second. Peloton has a new program called Boost Your Base, and it is just a bunch of Power Zone rides, which are endurance rides during which you ride at low intensities for a long period of time, for long stretches, at lower intensities, not low intensity, lower intensities. So yeah, I had an hour long. I'm behind by a week. They're doing 3 classes. I'm behind by a week. I have to catch up. 3 classes a week, and they're doing it for 8 weeks. I did the math yesterday. I had to do 1 class a day, 1 class tomorrow and Friday, and then the Wednesday class. I have to do that on Saturday, and on Saturday the long ride. I have to do that on Sunday, and then boom, I'll be caught up. The long ride is 60 minutes. It's an hour. So after the gym, after Thursdays are my boxing days. So after boxing and some other cardio stuff like using the sled and everything, I didn't have to. I came home, hopped on the bike as I usually do because I do cycle after I box and do legs. So Tuesdays and Thursdays I cycle, and Saturdays. I came home, hopped on the bike, and I did an hour and 20 minutes. So an hour plus that hour long class plus another class to warm up. Yeah, I'm tired, man. I'm gonna take a nap after this. So then I ate breakfast, made some I made a Chemex full of coffee. I only drank 1 cup. I had to put the rest in the fridge. And then Maverick and I rushed over to the recycling center. CHARM, Center for Hard to Recycle Materials. So excellent nonprofit here in Atlanta. Now they have 2 locations, which is good. And then we rushed back to the dog park. And then, I went to Trader Joe's, and then we went to CHARM. I went to Trader Joe's, and so my groceries were sitting in the car all the while we were at the dog park for about 30 minutes. And then I rushed home, dropped him off, put all the cold stuff that was still cold in the fridge, and more or less ran to the to the haircut place. Barbershop is what they call it. Just sprinted. Looked like an idiot. It took all of the song Love is a Battlefield. Because I put my headphones in. Also, I dropped my headphones not once, but twice. One earbud fell a lot of stories. A certain amount, 4 stories. I live on the 4th floor. I live on the top floor. It fell 4 stories into a dog pee area. I had to run downstairs and get it. I was like, please don't be broken. I can clean it. I can't let this be broken. And then after the barber shop, I went to just get some pet food, and I dropped the case just on the concrete ground. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Then I ran home, and I had lunch for 15 minutes, and then I had the team meeting, and then I sat down to write. And now here I am doing this podcast. You're welcome, by the way. Yeah, slamming the recycling out there. Yeah, we have recycling here, but I choose to go to a place where I know it will get handled. Now, welcome. I don't know why I'm swiping through my phone right now, as if I have things going on. Now, let's talk about what's going on in the state of the world. Oh, also during the meeting, the Pope was announced to be elected. So for 40 minutes, I just watched that. The meeting's over here. I'm just like, what's going on? Who's the Pope? I'm not Catholic, but it's an event. It's a big event, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I saw who they chose. I was hoping it was going to be the Asian guy. Forgive me, I don't know his true nationality, but yeah, he's Asian. Or the black guy. It'd been very fun. But they chose an American Pope, and I wonder what goes on behind those doors. They don't let people in, and if you talk about the process, they will excommunicate you. I've seen Evil. I know how these things work. Evil, the show, Paramount Plus. It's fantastic. Now, it was canceled. But they were able to finish it out with some bad green screen in the last episode. But I love that show. It's so good. All right, let's talk about GTA 6. It's been delayed to May 2027. And I would not be surprised if it was delayed May 2026. And I would not be surprised if it was delayed until fall 2026, just a full year. We'd gotten to a point where we knew it was supposed to come out this May 2025. And then they pushed it to the fall 2025. And I believe September, I don't know. And there were rumblings of the game being delayed again, because that is just what Rockstar tends to do. I don't know how many times GTA 5 was delayed, but how many times was it re-released? So, there you go. GTA 6 has been delayed, but they released a new trailer that tells you the story of this couple that you will be playing as, man and woman. She's getting out of jail, and he's some type of muscular guy. And you're going to be running up and down Vice City beaches in the city and all that stuff. I think it's Vice City. I'm not going to check. I saw on Unlocked, on IGN's Xbox podcast, I saw a clip this morning talking about whether or not the reality of that game's price being $100. I'm super thrown off by the recycling people coming out and slamming the dumpster in the back of the recycling dumpster in the back of the truck. Whether or not that game could release at $100. Now, I've spoken about Nintendo Switch game price increases up to $80. That's not because of the tariffs. The console is going to be $500 because of $450 because of the tariffs. But actually, I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if tariffs are affecting Nintendo at all. I think they're just doing this. Some companies have come out to say that or some people and analysts have come out to say that this has opened the door for games like GTA 6 to be released at $80, $90, $100. EA has come out to say, as one of the few companies to say, we're not going to be doing $80 games. We're going to keep our games at $60. However, I think that comes in two flavors. One, and I spoke about this on LinkedIn Logs for some reason this week. One, EA has no room to release a new Madden, and 2K has no room to release a new NBA 2K game at $80 at baseline, because they already have all of these different iterations. You can go get an MJ themed NBA 2K game for $100, and that gives you all the V-Bucks and whatever. And for Madden, that gives you all the Madden bucks to buy stuff within the game. And then two, I think that would just curtail their base. I think that would really take away from the player base of the people who buy the games yearly. There are people out there who buy Madden 25, Madden 26, Madden 27, and they're going to continue doing so because they want to be up to date and continue playing the games. It's the same people that buy Call of Duty every year. And that base of people, they're very loyal. But those people aren't the ones who are going to be thirsting for $100 Madden or an $80 Madden. How much are games? $70? Jesus. Games are so expensive. Gaming is an expensive hobby. I want to go to... I don't want to go to Amazon because I have something in my cart that I have to wait for that I'm debating whether or not to buy. Claire Obscure Expedition on PS5 at GameStop costs $50. Interesting. What if I go and I look for, okay, so the new Ghost of Yote costs $70. So games are $70. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is $70 on PlayStation 5. It's the discussion of worth and everything comes up, and rightly so, when it comes to these games, to video games. Is Mario Kart World going to be that like worth that much money? If anything, if games are going to be that expensive, I thought about this like 10 or 20 minutes ago. Why don't, if they're going to be this expensive, DLC should be free or severely reduced. And I understand crunch and pay and this and that, but we're at a point in the world of technology where we can get so many versions of so many things, or just different flavors of things. I don't have to buy Liquid Death water. I can get LaCroix. I don't have to buy Frosted Flakes. I can get frosting flakes, things like that. We don't have to. And I'm not saying knockoffs, because LaCroix is not a knockoff of Liquid Death, but there are other options out there. Balatro costs $10, and with an $80 video game, I can buy Balatro on Android, on iPad, on Steam, on Xbox, on PlayStation, on Switch. And that's $60, and I can play Balatro literally anywhere at any point in time for the amount it costs to, buy Ghosts of Yote. And obviously, those are two different flavors of games. But one of them is going to be infinitely entertaining, as opposed to the other one, which is going to tell me a good 20, 30, 40-hour story. But then that's going to be it at that point. So worth is a part of the conversation. It's a part of the conversation I hate to put on there, but that's what it is at this point. I don't think games should be $80. This is, I think it's an absurd pricing. And if GTA 6 releases at $100, and even with that idea, the rumors are that they're just going to release a story mode and the multiplayer components separately. So we'd be paying, $70 and $40 because they make more money on the online stuff, because people love the online stuff. And so in total, you'll be paying $100 for both. That's unnecessary, and it's cruel to the consumer. And we can say vote with your wallet all you want, but it's still going to it could happen, and it would still make it the most popular thing. I don't want to see what's a movie I don't want to see. I don't want to see the next Greta Gerwig movie, but it's probably going to be big enough because she did Barbie, and they'll probably get her awards, and it doesn't matter if I see it or not. It doesn't matter if I watch White Lotus or not, because it's still a popular show. All right, let's move on. This next one, it comes from Aishwarya Jain at Reuters. Peloton shares slide on bigger than expected Q3 loss. Ever since the pandemic, Peloton had this boom, and then it just kind of sank because people have been going and are back in the gym. And while there are people like me who want both worlds, the at-home stuff and the in-person stuff, there are people who want one side of either. And unfortunately for Peloton, a lot of people are just deciding to do the other side. Now, at the end of March and very early April, There were some softness in the sales of Peloton. That's according to CFO Liz Coddington. But they are seeing things bounce back. But those numbers aren't the ones that are being reported at this point. For the quarter ended March 31st, the company, this is like poorly written. And there's a lot of things just missing, like quotation marks. For the quarter ended March 31st, that's what it's written here. The company posted a loss per share of 12 cents, bigger than analysts estimated of 6 cents per share. Quarterly revenue from equipment sales fell 27% to $206 million, while it ended the quarter with 6.1 million paid subscribers, down about 500,000 from last year. The quarter marks the first earnings result with the new CEO, Peter Stern, who has been tasked with helping Peloton's transition. Peloton, I love it. I subscribe to it, and it's an expense. It's I'm an app only user, but I use the fuck out of it. I mean, I use it. I'm not kidding. I use it every single day, and yes, I did buy a treadmill because of it. I did buy an indoor bike because of it. I do have a nice yoga mat because of it. So it's an important part to me, and I will, as much as I dislike a lot of the instructors, as much as I disagree with a lot of what they say, mental health has nothing to do with me doing a wicked row. Being a mom has nothing to do with me sprinting on the treadmill. I don't agree with any of that shit. I do like the platform, but I do, it's so funny, the instructors themselves will talk about how popular and how successful and things are on, like, while you're taking a class. But I see Peloton equipment, treadmills, and bikes on Facebook Marketplace daily, and they're not the same posts. And for a lot of these people, first of all, if you have a bike and you're reselling it, I don't care how many times you used it. The moment you put it together, unbox it and put it together, sweetheart, you gotta take $500 off that price. You cannot charge me $1,200. Charge people $1,200 and say, dude, I barely used your bikes for 7 years. That's your fault. It's your fault. Say any piece of tech, anything you sell on Facebook Marketplace. 5 years ago, I paid $2,482 for it. Here's the receipt. I don't care if you post a receipt. Here's the receipt. I'm looking to make back my money. No, it's ridiculous. I'm all for the company, but oftentimes, every single time I see a post of, now I'm seeing rowers on there too, Peloton rowers, along with hydro rowers as well. People are often selling those, and they're doing the same thing. They're pricing them too high. I want to message these people and go, why are you selling this? And sometimes they'll put in the description, selling because I go back to the gym, or selling because I don't use it. Or selling because my apartment has one. Like, no, I don't want to do that. I think for Peloton, if I'm somebody, I'm a crazy insane, person who just wants to focus on the workout. I just want to focus on the workout. I don't care what's going. My cat died and I still worked out. And yes, she was in the back of my mind, but God bless it. Sometimes these things have to be separate. And I'm not saying that that's something that needs to happen for everybody, but Peloton and for the greater conversation, Apple Fitness and TRX, because I use TRX, they have an app as well, and Nike Trainer Fit Club, whatever, I think it's Training Club. Anyway, all the and Center and all these connected fitness places, iFit. people love community, and that's true. And you can see it in Zwift, you can see it on Peloton, and they love being a part of a community when they work out. You can see it in run clubs on Strava. I can see people tagging their run clubs and doing this and posting pictures and everything like that. And yes, I'm jealous. But I think a lot of, if I'm one person who thinks like this, then there's got to be at least, of the, let's see, Lord, I look at app-based subscriptions. They have app-based subscriptions of about 550,000 people. I could be representative of 1,000 people, and who are hardcore, but they don't agree with this stuff that they talk about on Peloton, that the instructors talk about on Peloton. I think in order for Peloton to be successful at this point, they have to be willing to humble themselves. Humble yourself, instructors. Humble yourself, Peloton. People have no room to spend $2,200 on a bike and a treadmill and a rower. And then the clothing that's branded, $70 on a shirt that's branded Peloton. People don't have that. And this is even before tariffs, even before an economic downturn, thanks to our great Führer. I think people are turned off by a lot of the soapbox moments. And again, I could be a representative of a lot of people or a handful of people. I think people are turned off by the soapbox moments. And I also think that they're turned off because they see Peloton as this Apple-esque expense. And if we already have one expense in terms of, Apple iPads and $1,400 phones, then we're going to want to spend whatever remaining money we have elsewhere. People want to travel. Yes, you can travel with the Peloton app and do some workouts and everything, but why? Why would you want to if you're not really that into it? So on top of like getting rid of the soapbox thing, but like also position yourself as an entryway for everybody, and not everybody who is just like and this is going to piss some people off, but not everybody who's a mom, not everybody who's a veteran, not everybody who's a doctor. Sometimes people just want to, not every, and also, and I feel this way a lot when I do, recovery rides or recovery runs or low impact rides or anything that's like kind of slowing, just to slow it down and get the blood moving. Not everybody feels sad about the positions they're in, about their bodies. Some people just want to get healthier. Some people want to lose the weight, or some people want to maintain, or some people want to come back from an illness, and they don't feel the suicidal thoughts that Peloton instructors seem to be imparting on these people. That's what it feels like sometimes. Like a lot of times, like you'll be taking the low impact ride, and it's like you're probably feeling this, and you want to give up and blah. No, it's a low impact ride. I just want to move my legs. Anyway, I have a lot of thoughts on Peloton, and I could spend this entire episode talking about it, but I'm not going to. Let's move on. Stars and Lionsgate are now separate companies. We knew this was happening, and it finally happened. This is from Todd Spangler at Variety. They will be run separately, and they are no longer the same. This is like if HBO broke off from Warner Brothers, basically. I believe Lionsgate is now on the New York Stock Exchange as Lion, and Stars entered the stock market on NASDAQ as STRZ. The separation was approved by 99% of Class A and B shareholders in the April 23rd meeting. The separation according to Lionsgate, is, quote, designed to unlock incremental value by creating two pure-play standalone companies able to pursue their own strategic, financial, and operational priorities and attract investors drawn to the strengths of their respective businesses. Lionsgate acquired Stars in 2016 for $4.4 billion. At that point, Stars was just a premium cable network that was watched less than Showtime and HBO. Now, Stars has been really become its own thing. We'll get to that after I mention this bit. Lionsgate is a movie studio, and they put out so many movies a year, 30 to 40, including a dozen wide theatrical releases. They also have 100 shows or more for scripted, unscripted TV shows. The company also owns 20,000 plus title film and television libraries and operates talent management and production company 3 Arts Entertainment. So they're super duper busy. As for Stars, they have 20 million subscribers in the US and Canada as of December 31st, 2024, and they've become a haven for as now a streaming platform and a cable network for a mostly multicultural audience. And when I say multicultural, I mean mostly Black. And that is as opposed to how Tubi is a stereotypically it's just the worst stereotypes. I think Stars is doing an excellent job in terms of having shows like Power and the Power Universe spinoff shows that they have. I don't watch any of those, but man, they're so popular that I assure you that they're keeping Stars afloat. They also have Outlander. And as long as Stars doesn't consider itself, it's a competitor, but as long as it does not consider itself in the same wheelhouse that Max and Paramount Plus with Showtime are, because they're fighting with Netflix and Disney, they're going to do great. I think Stars can really pull the same numbers that a streaming platform like AMC Plus is doing. You don't have to compete with Netflix. You just have to be in the conversation. And I think that's very important. All right, let's move on. The Golden Globes will present the Best Podcast Award starting next year. And thank God Nikki Glazer's coming back. She's gonna talk about how men and women are different. And women are horny. Unfortunately, the way that this new category will work is it's going to feature 6 nominees, and they're going to be chosen from among the 25 most listened to podcasts. Now, the bad part about that is how are we going to determine what the most listened to podcasts are? I'm going to go, and then the second part of that is the governing body of the Hollywood Foreign Press. They're going to be the ones that are going to be choosing this. Are they just going to go to the top charts of Apple Podcasts, because that's the most used podcast platform at this point in time? Are they going to go to the top shows that are consistent in all categories? Unfortunately, those shows include things like Alex Cooper's show and the Joe Rogan Experience and Megyn Kelly's show. I'm looking at the top 25 shows. It also includes Ezra Klein and Smartless and a bunch of Wondery podcasts and Michelle Obama's show and Theo. I don't like Theo Von, but like Jen Psaki's show. So is that going to be fair? Just by choosing the top podcast. If anything, the smarter thing would be for these podcasting companies like SiriusXM and Spotify and Lemonada. I think Lemonada just sold off too. Lemonada just sold itself off. Lemonada Media. Let me triple check that. Meghan Markle podcast studio Lemonada to be acquired by PodX. Interesting. How much money was that? This should have been a story. I don't know why I didn't put this in here because I just remembered it now. They have more than 50 original podcasts along with nearly 40 partner shows. PodX was founded in 2021, has an aggregated number of podcast studios, including, I don't know where those are. Lemonada has Julie Louis Dreyfus show, David Duchovny's show, Samantha Bee's show, Sarah Silverman's show. Interesting. But they should have these podcasting networks and companies have to put up, the shows. If if Pod X says, hey, we have Meghan Markle's show and we have Sarah Silverman's show and we have Samantha Bee's show, we want to put up those 3 shows in the same way that Warner Brothers and Disney have to put up their movies and shows to be considered for nominations. That's how it should happen. But going to the top most 25 listened podcasts, the problem with that is you're going to give voices to already loud, hateful voices that are Megyn Kelly and Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro and the rest of those clowns. So no, let's think about this in a smarter way. They've already instituted that this is what's happening, but I wholeheartedly disagree with how this is going to go down. And finally, next week we will get news on ESPN's new streaming platform. But this week we've got like a name and a price. But this week we have some news for cable subscribers, namely me. This comes from Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. ESPN cable subscribers will get access to new streaming features. Bob Iger said during a investor call this week, if you are a subscriber of linear ESPN, you will automatically get what I know we've been referring to as ESPN Flagship, which is the streaming service. Yeah, I mean that's that's not the name ESPN Flagship, but that is the like Nintendo Switch had fake name and Xbox had fake name, all that stuff before they launched, before they were formally announced. So this fall, cable subscribers will get access to ESPN Flagship, which is good because it really felt like they were going to go in a route that is you subscribe to ESPN, the streaming platform, and you get all of the networks plus you get whatever is on ESPN Go, and that's going to cost you $25 to $30. But that would leave out a lot of the cable platform people. Now, in the same way, why can't they do that with Disney and Disney Plus? I don't know what this conversation is. Linear subscribers will still get access to many interactive features planned for the new service that will be made available via ESPN's mobile app. See, and that's the part where I was confused where I was reading this, which is why I kind of stopped. ESPN, so this fall we're getting ESPN Flagship, which is the streaming app. However, it seems like they will take both cable subscribers and regular streaming subscribers. Okay. But when there's a sentence that says linear subscribers will still get access to many interactive features planned for the new service that are going to be made available via ESPN's mobile app. So is that ESPN the current app that's happening right now? Or is it going to be the new app? Or are you only going to get access to ESPN Flagship, aka the streaming service, via ESPN's mobile app, which is what you already do with ESPN Plus? The plan would be to basically be somewhat agnostic from a subscriber perspective so that we can still do our best to preserve the multi-channel ecosystem, but at the same time, we obviously want to grow our DTC, direct-to-consumer business. So that means if you subscribe to cable, to me, this is what this means to me. If you subscribe to cable, it does not matter. You will get access to ESPN streaming. Again, we're going to get a new name and pricing details next week. And Disney's, this is critical of how Disney's future is going to look. Mike Prulix, who's the vice president and researcher director at Forrester, an industry consultancy, said the growth of live advertising ripe sports is a literal layup for Disney's upcoming launch of its ESPN direct-to-consumer platform. The company continues to ease its innovativeness, which means that there are high market expectations for Disney to deliver here. Disney, I believe, is still in talks with the NFL to to buy NFL media, and they're losing MLB at some point, or a lot of it's MLB. But they also have hockey. They've got soccer, I think, basketball this coming season, this next season. So yeah, I mean, Disney is really positioning itself in the world on top of all the sports rights they have. Unfortunately, they have a lot of shows that people watch, like the Pat McAfee show. I was going to say Pat Francis. Comedian Pat Francis. The Pat McAfee show and whatever middle of the lane BS Stephen A. Smith is talking about. I say middle of the lane because he was at a News Nation town hall with Donald Trump. So there you go. My respect for Stephen A. Smith. What little there was. Gone. Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly were there as well. Why do I know this? I'm hopeful for, hearing something like this is hope, does instill a little bit of hope within me. I was going to do a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Sandra by my side. I'm so sorry. And I did it anyway. Now, hearing and reading this does bring a little bit of hope, because there are a lot of streaming services, and this, by them saying, hey, we don't care if you're coming from cable, and we don't care if you're going to be a new consumer, it really, kind of puts the idea that they care. Yes, they want to boost their subscriber numbers, especially their initial numbers will be insane, because this is how people were able to watch remember HBO Go and HBO Now? Oh my gosh, they had so many subscribers because you got the cable people, you got the streaming people. But this means that they're not leaving the traditional cabler behind. At some point, when cable is no more, or it's lesser than what it is now, which is already way less than what it was 20 years ago, then they will probably go, hey, we're no longer going to be doing the cable thing. But at this point in time, and in the fall, this is excellent. This is great. I had no interest. In fact, I was before this podcast, I was just pricing out the streaming services so that I could, scale back. And I was thinking, as much as I love having ESPN Plus, mostly to watch golf, I can get golf for now on the Golf Network. It's being spun off from NBC, so from NBC Universal. So I don't know what's going to happen to Golf Network, but I can watch as much. I can watch it live on the Golf Network, and then after 3 hours, I can switch over to CBS and watch the rest of or NBC, the rest of the matches there. So I can watch it on 3 separate networks on linear TV. I don't need ESPN Plus, so now I'm going to break up my Disney bundle and bundle in Max, and I'd rather just have access to those 3, because those are 3 that I watch, as opposed to ESPN Plus, where I only had it for golf and 30 for 30. I do think ESPN has a lot to offer. They will be a contender because, Fubo TV, so Venu was going to be this platform where you can get all of the Disney sports stuff, all the Fox sports stuff, and all of the Warner Brothers sports stuff. Obviously, Fubo came in and said, hey, that is collusion to the highest degree, and you can't do that. Took him to court. Court said, you can't do that. So then Venu's no more. Fubo TV was purchased by Disney in the interim, and now, by Hulu in the interim. So now you have Fubo TV and Hulu but they're two separate companies at this point for now. We'll see what happens in the future in a couple of years. But Fubo TV is mostly sports. It's like YouTube TV and Hulu with live TV, but for mostly sports. Plus, you also get some other channels, including traditional Disney stuff and Warner stuff and other things like that. Your live local broadcast networks. There needs to be more competition. There doesn't need to be more streaming services, platforms. But you have to think of the consumer. If I can get sports elsewhere but for cheaper, then I'm going to go elsewhere but for cheaper. All right. I'm done here. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to see a video version of me talking to famous people under the interviews, like Jennifer Irwin, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can see all that there. Oh my God, I'm getting really worked up about it. If you want to see a video version of this show, as well as a video version of the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, you can also find that on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on TikTok, Blue Sky, and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Blackwhite. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Bye.